On Friday at a campaign event, Governor Ron DeSantis took aim at Dr. Anthony Fauci's recent claim that he had nothing to do with school closures. In remarks touting his record of leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic and eschewing lockdowns, DeSantis ripped into the president's chief medical advisor. In a recent interview with ABC News, Fauci told Jonathan Karl he had, quote, nothing to do with school closures. DeSantis is currently leading Democrat Charlie Crist by over 10 points and is considered a top 2024 Republican presidential contender.
We're also going to continue to work very hard on education, yes, workforce education, but just the fact, if you think about it, that we worked so hard to have the kids in school this whole time. You're going to see when they do these state-by-state results for the nation's report card that we will have done so much better than these lockdown states with our kids' performance, because you just can't learn right being on Zoom for a year and a half. It doesn't work that way. So we thought that that was very important. I had a lot of opposition when we were doing that back in 2020. And, you know, you see somebody like Fauci now, and he's saying he never supported closing schools. He's actually saying that. That is just false. He attacked me for having schools open. Are you kidding me? But I think the fact that he's saying that, the fact that he claims he never advocated lockdowns, even though he criticized Florida, and actually said the summer of 2020, we had COVID wave, first main COVID wave, and people are telling me, close the state. I had a letter written to me from all the Democrat members of the U.S. Congress in mid-July saying you must shut down Florida. I rejected that. I kept it open, and but when they were doing it, he was saying that Florida needed to do this as well, or saying that they really need to think about doing that. And so, but the fact that he's now rewriting history, you know, what that tells us is that's his way. He's never going to admit he was wrong, but that's their way of kind of distancing themselves from the catastrophic damage that those policies inflicted on people throughout this country. You cannot look at the learning loss that we see in states like California and Chicago and all these other places and say that that was somehow good. Because you can look at states like Florida and you can look at other states and see they had the kids in school. And so how are you going to be able to rationalize that? They cannot rationalize it. But the danger is they're not admitting that they're wrong, and so that's something that they may be willing to do again in the future. And so that's why when I saw this thing with the CDC adding COVID shots to the childhood immunization schedule, they are doing that, and that is going to be a pretext for states throughout this country to mandate that on school children. Some already do. D.C. is trying to do it. Some of the California is trying to do it. And I saw this as something that was likely to be a push at some point. So I had the legislature ban mandates for school children in the state of Florida for COVID shots. That's your decision as a parent.